Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet. And on this podcast, I will continue to talk about new ways to help you live with intention, reshape your mindset, and look at the world through a grateful lens. So, first of all, thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend time listening to this podcast and pouring into these messages. Your consistent support and your messages and all the different ways that you encourage me are greatly appreciated on a routine basis. And, I look forward to grow this podcast over many, many years. And your support by sharing it, but also by subscribing means a lot to me, allows me to keep doing it for free. And it's something that I will always continue to push and grow and challenge new topics and kind of share some of my own personal stories about overcoming certain things or reshaping mindsets, or maybe even just the power of other people overcoming adversity in their lives to inspire you as well. So take a second, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can also do this on YouTube. So I'm posting these videos on YouTube. I've had a lot of people ask me that they prefer that over listening and just listening to a podcast. So if you're on YouTube, welcome. Appreciate you joining. Appreciate you sharing these videos as well. Again, continue to inspire other people by sharing what inspires you. So this week, I'm going to talk about something that I'm going to share 4 times throughout the year. But one of the things that I love to do with the people that I'm the most grateful for and people that inspire me every day is kind of this recap, right? And maybe it's more of a better, the way we're going to talk about it today is a check-in. So a check-in of your goals, how you are doing, what changes you want to make, what things you're proud of, what obstacles you've overcome. And kind of, again, this is more of that living with intention, but also maybe some reshaping of your mindset on your New Year's goals. And if you're not somebody who set New Year's goals or resolutions, and you listened to that episode back in January, I talked about manifestations. And manifestations isn't just believing that it's going to happen, it's believing that it can, and then getting to work so that it does. So this week, I want to talk a lot more about the quarterly check-in process that I get to do with the people that I love, and the people that I'm the most grateful for challenge me all the time. And it is really good to share your journey of growth with other people. And one of the things that I do is, when I start the year, but also kind of every week, but this quarterly check-in, as we're a quarter of the way through the year, is really stopping and thinking about, I kind of quiet my mind and think about, how am I doing? Have my priorities changed? And I'm going to run through kind of a list of questions, but I'm going to do one of these every quarter. I'm going to do an episode every quarter, but there's different energy and different intention in every quarter, because we can't be focusing on reflection and the momentum and then celebration and all these different things every quarter, because then it just feels overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but the first quarter has gone by pretty quick. But I have been present, and I have had countless moments of gratitude and love and optimism and overcoming challenges and supporting the people that I love. And just, it's been a great quarter. It's been a challenging quarter in some moments, but it's been incredible in others. And so the goal really here is to not think about all year. It's to think about every day that makes up a quarter, that makes up the year. So, as we kind of work our way through the year, right, taking a moment to pause. If this could be 10 minutes for you, sometimes for me, this is an hour or more, to where I stop and really think about the goals that I set and why I set those goals. And, again, sharing this journey with somebody else in your life that supports you and challenges you and believes in you is incredibly powerful. So if you haven't done that yet, I encourage you to do that. So it's really, this quarterly check-in is really an opportunity to reflect. This first quarter, we're going to focus more on reflection and renewal. Okay, so that's going to be the theme this week. So reflecting on your goals, assessing the progress you've been making, and making adjustments, right? And so we aren't the same person that we started the year with. Things have happened. We've grown. We've overcome. We've celebrated new changes in our lives. New things have been added. And so really, again, not having known all the things that were going to happen already when we set the goals. This is why these are so powerful, because you can really start to kind of, one, gain momentum through some of the progress you're making, but also kind of, poke at how do I do this differently? And if there's a goal that you had to start the year, but you've been too nervous to start it, maybe this is the check-in that encourages you to start it. And maybe you weren't ready to start the year with that goal, but maybe there's a goal that you want to add. And these check-ins are meant to be intentional and meant to not be heavy. And so I will kind of first start off with, if you haven't started any goals, stop doubting yourself that you can. It's not too late. You deserve the chance and the opportunity and the grace to set a goal, to live the life you want to be living, to contribute the way you want to contribute, to feel how you want to feel every day. Now, that comes with intention. That comes with some decisions and discipline that you kind of have to live in a way that is aligned with how you want to feel. And so, it's a matter of this first quarter, giving yourself some grace, because we start off with a lot of motivation and inspiration to start the year, and then life happens. And then maybe a lot of other things took priority, and that's okay. Say that to yourself one more time. It's okay. Life has happened. It hasn't been easy, but you're still here, and you're still listening, and you still have opportunity. So don't just count the things you haven't done. Give yourself some credit and some grace for what you have done, who you've helped, how you've shown up for other people, things you've overcome, progress you have made, goals you have stuck to. Focus more on those things and learn. We'll talk about this in a second, but learn from the things that you haven't prioritized, that you haven't done, or maybe you weren't ready to start, or maybe it was just too much to start. Now, oftentimes, this is where I'll poke at the goals. If you set some goals that don't align with what you're doing right now, or who you are, or they're not a priority, it's okay. The goal isn't meant to be rigid. The goal isn't supposed to be an obligation. It's supposed to be and feel more like an opportunity to do what you love with people that you love. And so you can be better for yourself and for people that you love. And that's what these are all about. These check-ins are like putting air back into your life, into your lungs. It's shining that light on what's possible, not deflating it and not beating it up and not turning the shades and closing and making it dark on what could have been. Think about what could have been, shifting that to what could still be. Okay, so that's the energy of these quarterly check-ins. So I'll dive a little bit into quarterly check-in, quarter one check-in. And again, the topic and the theme is reflection and renewal. Renewal of energy, of body, of spirit, of mind, of grace, whatever it is. So as we've made our way through the first 90 days of the year, go back and reflect on the goals that you have. Now, if you don't even remember the goals you set, that's fine. It's okay. Give yourself some grace. They weren't ready yet. They were things that you felt like you should do, not the things that you felt like you must do. And that's okay. Give yourself some grace. Do these things more out of the life you want to be living, as opposed to feeling like you should, so that you can fit some identity that other people have created for you, of you, or whatever it may be. So I'm going to give you 4 questions, and then I'll talk a little bit about each reflection each quarter, just to kind of get you prepped. But the first question I want you to ask yourself or discuss with other people is, what progress have you made towards your goals since the beginning of the year? I don't care how small you think this progress is. Progress is progress. Stop measuring it. Small progress made every day ends up being intentional progress. It ends up being progress that we're aware of, that builds momentum. If we all of a sudden accomplish a goal in 3 days because we got lucky, or something else happened, or somebody else did something for us, we didn't learn and grow. So the real growth through setting goals and accomplishing them is actually the daily progress. And sometimes it's daily decisions that you've made. Is it progress towards sticking to a new habit? It's not a matter of have you done everything you said you were going to do. It's a matter of have you been able to conditionally work your way through your days and your weeks and your months so far to then make progress on your goals. Again, don't diminish progress. Appreciate your progress. Now, the second question is what obstacles have you overcome, have you encountered, and overcome? Or what obstacles do you currently have and you need to figure out a way to overcome them? The reason why I say this is because again, January 1st, we set all these goals, but then the last 90 days, lots of things have happened in our lives and in the lives of the people that we love. And so what obstacles are those? How did they come up? How did you learn a lesson from those? How did that either focus you or distract you from what you want to be doing and the life you want to be living? And, how can you gain some confidence and resilience and belief in the fact that you've overcome them? I'm not saying you forgot that they came. It's just a matter of how did you keep your chin up? How did you keep your shoulders back as you worked your way through that obstacle? Okay. Question number 3. Have your priorities shifted? Do you need to make any sort of adjustments to your goals or your action plans? This is where I lose a lot of people typically. So, if you have new priorities, if something else that is more important to you took precedence during this first quarter, and it remains more important to you than some of the goals you'd set, why don't you shift your goal so that you don't carry the weight throughout the year? Because I always want you to keep the important things as the important things. So give yourself some time to think about, have your priorities shifted? And the best way to do that is refocus and rethink about why you set the goals you set and who is going to benefit from setting those goals, from you accomplishing those goals, making progress towards those goals. And again, it can be yourself. You can be the person who's going to benefit from these things. I had somebody make a comment about that. Yes, you can set goals that you benefit from. Why wouldn't you? Because the more you benefit, the more you can be at your best for yourself and for the people that you love and you're grateful for. But it's important to not constantly be working against your January 1st self in March, in the second quarter of the year. And so I'm not proposing that you change anything. I'm just asking that you really pour into this in the sense of, are you still excited about accomplishing and working on? Actually more, are you excited about working on the goal? Are you excited about, do you feel like you get to work on these things instead of have to? That's the only question. So, again, think about what priorities you have. What do you need to focus on over the next quarter, right? Some of this is preparation for the quarter to come, but we can't necessarily go where we want to go if we're not present enough to recognize where we are and where we've been and use those two places to help us go where we want to go and have the relationship we want to have and have the career we want to have and have the mindset and the physical fitness and the mental health that we want to have. We have to recognize all 3 steps of our mental state, of the past, the present, and the future. So then the last question, again, 4 questions per quarter. The last question is also something that a lot of people struggle with because we just feel like we should just be making progress and making, having success. But we rarely stop and think about it. So the 4th question is, what has been your biggest achievement and success so far this year? And again, it could be that you stuck to a habit. Doesn't mean you accomplished a goal. But what has been your biggest achievement or success so far this year? And maybe that is just offering yourself some grace so that you still feel like you can and still believe that you can accomplish your goal. So as you kind of work through your achievements and successes, think about how it happened, what you had to do so that you don't think it happened by accident or because of someone else. But then also, how did your achievement and success impact your life and the life of the people that you love. Because again, attaching purpose to anything is going to be the reason, going to be the catalyst behind resilience and persistence when it comes to accomplishing your goals, living the life you want to living that you want to be living. And again, this isn't about the goals, it's about the journey, it's about the steps, because that's where the growth happens and sustainability happens. And there's so much to be made inside that, in the process of the journey and the steps and the ups and the downs and the successes and the failures and all the different things. It's all meant to be part of the journey, to get our attention, to provide perspective, and so that it helps us feel more confident when we do have that life we want to be living, that it wasn't just by accident, that it is something we will somehow feel like we deserve. If it happened quickly, it kind of doesn't feel like we've earned it. Sometimes different topics, different things. Again, I could talk for hours about that, but which I may do another episode on that, on feeling worthiness of the life you want to be living. Actually, that's a promise. I will do a podcast on that. So really think about those 4 questions. What progress have you made towards your goals? What obstacles have you encountered and how have you overcome them? And what maybe do you still need to work on overcoming? Have your priorities shifted, requiring any sort of changes to your goals or your plans? And then what are your biggest achievements and successes so far? Again, quarter 1 is all about reflection and renewal. And so, use this time to really stop, slow down, and reflect. Think of it like pulling back an arrow right before you're going to shoot an arrow. Think about that process that's required in order to really project forward and move in the direction that you want, with intention, with being relentless, with this relentless pursuit and belief that it's possible for you. But we need to take reflection and renewal seriously so that we can really start to think about, am I on the path that I want to be on? And if not, how do I make changes to do that? So again, your accomplishments, there's nothing too small, right? Reaffirm your commitment to your goals. Just don't start Monday. Start now, whenever you're listening. Don't put it off. Don't think, well, I'll start after the thing on the week. Just start. Because the longer we put it off, we start to develop the habit of putting it off. So I will give you just a little bit of insight into what quarter 2 is going to look like. So quarter 2, we're going to talk more about momentum and adjustment. Okay, so as you work through the second quarter of the year, what have you done to keep up some momentum, and what are the adjustments you need to make? Because again, adjustments are part of the process. Quarter 3 is about persistence and resilience. I won't go too far into that, but it's understanding that we're almost there, right? Sticking with it, disciplined. And then quarter 4 is about reflection again and celebration. Now that one's probably going to be a little uncomfortable for some people, but that's what we're here for, right? And again, it's not wishing time away. I'm not necessarily just waiting for quarter 4 to celebrate. And I'm not looking forward to just something later in the year. I'm looking forward to today. I'm looking forward to so many things between now and the second quarter update. And I just encourage you to find things in each quarter that you look forward to and write these things down. I journal it, put it in your phone, in the notes, whatever is meaningful for you. But just slow down and be present and use this reflection exercise to reflect and renew your heart and your mind and spirit so that you can make the rest of the year the best of the year. So I hope you found this meaningful, and I hope and really am inspired by the idea that you're going to do a check-in, that you're going to do a check-in with yourself, with the people that you love and people you're the most grateful for, to kind of relift, right, some of that energy and motivation and spirit and purpose behind what you do every day. And so, again, share this with other people, share this episode with other people, share your goals and your accomplishments and your reflections. Do this with the people that you love and the people you're the most grateful for, that are grateful for you, that challenge you and inspire you. And again, be on your own team. Lift yourself up. Be fair with criticism. Be also fair with compliments about where you are, where you've been, and where you want to go. So again, take this moment to express my gratitude to each of you for listening, for sharing, for subscribing, whether it's on whatever podcast platform you listen to or whether it is on YouTube. And for those of you who've reached out and asked questions about the books, so I have two different books. One of them is Practice Gratitude, Find Joy. And the second book is called Grateful Leadership. And both of those books are available on Amazon, and more books to come as I continue to kind of find new ways to share new messages to different groups of people to inspire them to live their best life and live with intention, like we've talked about on this. And the other question that I've been getting a lot lately is, do I offer coaching? And yes. So if you're listening to this podcast and you want somebody who sounds like, who needs, if you know somebody who needs somebody in their life to kind of help them reframe and refocus and help them do these check-ins, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to connect you with somebody, or I'd be happy to work with you as well. So I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sharing. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or any other ways that I can better serve you. And I will wrap up this episode like I do every episode, and always remind you that you always have the power and the choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.